His first name is Mr. His last name is Whiskey. Mr. Whiskey for some comedy time.
Alright, howdy everyone. This is my first time on a cruise and I'm a really paranoid, anxious person, so I'm thinking to myself, what if something goes wrong? And I don't mean me on the dance floor, I mean something seriously goes wrong. And the thought that crossed my mind was, how many of these people don't know how to swim? I was like, it's crazy because it's true. We saw y'all at the port calls flopping around. And so I'm like, this is crazy that they think the most adventurous thing will be the hot tub. Like, we're on the ocean. But it's not as crazy and shocking as when I joined the Navy. When I went to boot camp, no one could swim. No one. I mean, any other branch I could understand. But the Navy, where the village people said you could put your mind at ease on the 7 seas, that's the ocean. You gotta swim. You think the Marines get to boot camp and they've never eaten crayons before. They don't know their favorite flavor already. They get there and they're like, what's this? Or the people in the Air Force show up and they're like, wait, I get paid to lay around for 6 hours and do nothing? You think it's their first time? But no, 95% of my division could not swim. And these are people, Californians, Floridians, East Coast, West Coast, these are people who knew what an ocean was. None of them could swim. But everyone from Kansas knew how to swim. I said, where did they learn? The Emerald City? They got the Wizard of Oz? He's got a private pool for them? None of them could swim. And so it's so funny because boot camp breeds that kind of person who enjoys people who can't swim. Because you're like, look at me, I can swim. And the lifeguard loves his job. You know, Jesus said to his disciples, y'all shall be fishers of men. And it's symbolic, but in the Navy it's not. They got this big old dude. They got this huge guy, crooked grin, and he's got a 12-foot pole with a giant hook on the other end. And he's standing there watching everyone fall from a 30-foot tower. They don't know how to swim. They get pushed off. And he's just standing there, you know, waiting. And as soon as they hit the water, his heart starts pounding. He's getting excited. He's hyping himself up. He's like, my mom never hugged me. My dad never looked me in the eyes. I'll show them. And he's standing there with this giant hook. And as soon as the recruit's eyes go into the water, he just grabs him with this 12-foot giant hook. And he pulls him to the wall and goes, again. And he's like even more excited the second time. And so, yeah, no one in boot camp could swim. And the lifeguards were the only person in the military who probably actually enjoys their job. Now, my roommate was no exception. He was a Connecticut coast. He didn't know how to swim. And he goes, it's because I don't want to drown. And I said, well, wait. If you know how to swim, you won't drown. That's how it works. He goes, no, I don't need it. I said, well, you're in the Navy. What if something happens? He goes, no. I joined the submarine, so I'll be crushed to death instead. I won't have to. So I said, what do you mean? He goes, yep, I'll be crushed. He goes, on an aircraft carrier destroyer, you end up in the water, you could drown. I don't want to do that. So the submarine, whoop, nothing. I won't, just dust. He goes, okay. And I said, well, what happens if there's like a small hole and water starts filling it? He goes, don't worry, I've got a plan for that too. And he reaches into his suitcase and pulls out a bottle of bleach and strawberry syrup. He goes, there is another way. And so when I told him I was going on this trip, he packed me a travel size. But that's all for now, y'all. Thank you.